Hey, hey, Team Life Changers. I am so glad you're on this call. We have a special treat from corporate, guys. Corporate is here in the house. Keichun Graves is one of the most motivational speakers you will ever hear. And I love it because not only does she come with passion, she comes with grit, but she also comes with amazing, useful tools for us to use no matter where you are in the game. She just is such a life giver. She is an inspiration. And Keichun, I am just so thankful that you took the time out of your busy schedule to be on Life Changers team call. Because I know this is special, amazing treatment that you're giving us tonight. So I just appreciate it so much.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Thank you for having me on. I'm honored to be here. So thanks. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Like she mentioned, I'm Keichun Graves. I am one of the Coach Business Development Mentors in the Southeast region. I have the pleasure of working with the 3 through 8 star Diamonds. And while I've never been a coach, the value that I do bring is the fact that I get to work with so many amazing coaches. So I get to learn the tips and best practices, things not to do, things for sure to at least try from the top coaches in the business. So thanks again for having me on. I'm super excited. I actually, before we get into our conversation, it's November 28th. There's still plenty of months left to go achieve your goals. And so I just heard Rebecca mentioned that this call is being recorded. So I, of course, want you to be on here with me live. But if your goals aren't finished for the night, if you have not finished your goals for the month, I encourage you to come back and watch this recording and go finish your goals for the night. That's the most important. The action is the most important thing. The learning will come. You'll learn as you go. So I hope that you receive that in love. But if that's you, if you have not finished your goals for today, business is not done, you don't feel like you've won your business day, so to speak, then please bow out of love and come back and watch the recording tomorrow. If that's anybody. No? Okay. All right. Well, hey, we're all here. So I prepared a little something, but then I was thinking, Rebecca and I were talking, and I was like, well, you know what? I kind of want to hear from them. I want to hear, so this is going to be an open discussion. I'm not just going to be talking, y'all. I kind of want to hear, what are their goals? What are their strategies? What have they found to be working or not working? And then collectively, let's begin to brainstorm those things. So Cynthia, okay, mwah, 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 mwah. You got this, girlfriend. Message me, let me know when you get it done. I want to celebrate with you. But I wanted to hear from you guys specifically. And then we can brainstorm collectively how we can make the things that you are trying to reach work, how we can make the strategy that you're implementing work for you. So I'm going to open it up a little bit. Tammy, since you are just right there kind of in the middle of my screen, I'm going to start with you. So I'm sorry that I'm putting you on the spot. Okay. I'll let everyone know kind of the questions. Again, they are, let's just talk from now to the end of the year, right? We have 34 days left. So what is it that you're wanting to accomplish from now to the end of the year? And what is the strategy that you've implemented? What's working behind it? What's not working behind it?
Well, my story's a little different because I've been a coach over a year and I kind of went off the wagon a little bit. I was super successful. I hit Success Club every month, the first few months I was in. And then life kind of hit me. Okay. My son joined the military and
oh, wow.
My husband lost his job. It's been like a lot of stuff going on the last 6 months. So I kind of have fallen off for about 6 months. And so now I'm back, but I'm also now working a full-time job, which I wasn't before. So everything's a little different for me. So I really just kind of started getting back into this a couple months ago. And I think the biggest thing that has worked for me is I don't really set any big goals. And I know that's odd and probably not what you want to hear, but I just need to make sure that I stay focused.
I'm not here to hear anything, girlfriend, besides you.
You don't ever hear that from people, though. They always want goals, big goals, diamond, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm not into that. I need to make sure that I'm helping people for the right reason. And that's been my heart since I started doing this again a couple months ago. And I was on a Robbie's Action Academy or whatever. And that really helped push me every day because I'm so busy. I have like 3 ministries. I have a 7-year-old daughter. I have a full-time job. It's like I have a lot going on. So having him and that keep me accountable to doing my work every day has really helped me. I've hit Success Club 6 already. And that's just, I really think it's from me just having that accountability and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I haven't hit Success Club since the first of the year. So I think it's just the accountability, doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But at the end of the day, it's got to be your heart behind it and doing it for the right thing. And I don't care if I do hit Success Club. I want to, obviously. But if I lose people in the meantime, then it's not worth it to me. So I'm really focusing every day on talking to all my people every day, reaching out to new people every day. I'm still doing that. But I'm just trying to make sure my focus is why I started doing this. And that's because it was successful for me and I need the accountability. So I have to be that accountability. So, and Robbie helped me with that Action Academy doing that.
I love that you were doing that. So now I do have some questions because you sound very passionate, like something happened with you pushing for Success Club. Did something happen?
No, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure to do that and you can lose focus by doing that. And I think I lost focus because I was just so worried about getting more people and I didn't really build relationships. I was just trying to get people. And now I'm really focusing on the relationship part. I'm not only just trying to reach new people and connect with them, I'm also really focusing on my challengers every day and making sure they're losing weight and that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and keeping them motivated because I don't want to lose them. Because you do lose people, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to make sure I just keep my heart right and keep my focus. And that seems to be working for me right now. I'm still a little intimidated on the inviting. My heart races crazy, when I got to talk to somebody I hadn't talked to before. But, I'm dealing with that. So,
okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to deep dive a little bit deeper. But before, this is on my heart. And I'm candid, but I want you guys to know that it's all out of love. And the first is, I'm here to help you achieve your goals. Like that is my role. I'm not here to put goals on you. I'm not here to tell you what your goals should be, how big it should be, how small it should be. I'm just here to say that you should have goals. And I always talk about goals threefold. I talk about your joy goals. What roots you? What's your foundation of joy? What brings you joy in life, in this business, period, holistically. Your personal goals, and then your Beachbody goals. And I think that you should have those goals threefold, and they can be as audacious yet realistic as you want them to be, but they are necessary. So yeah. I want to make sure I make that clear. I'm not here I don't want you guys to tailor your message or what we're going to say tonight to be something that you think I want to hear, because this is about you. And I want to make sure that you get exactly what you need to get from our conversation tonight. The second thing is I agree that if you look at Success Club in a negative sense, meaning that it's a transaction and then we're moving on, yeah, that puts pressure on you. Yeah, that brings in the negative connotation of Success Club, but that's not what Success Club is. Right. And so Success Club is about having a goal of how many people want to help with the holistic system. Now, if that means that people come in and they may not want or need the holistic system at this point, that doesn't mean we don't help them. We continue to help them with where they're at, but it should be our goal. Eventually, it should definitely be our business goal if we want to have business-like results in it. Why? Because there are perks. There are business perks that come with helping 3 people with the holistic system every single month. And we know that the holistic system is the best way to be able to get people their desired results. So why wouldn't that be our goal? So I agree. We don't want to make it a transaction. It's about, I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to stick with you. I'm not just going to bring you in and the next month I'm on to the next people. That's for us to continue to build and grow in our business. That's why we set those Success Club goals. So I understand where somewhere in this 10-year deal, well, maybe Success Club hasn't been around for 10 years. Somewhere in the 7-year deal that Success Club has been around, the pendulum has swung a little bit. And so we have to remind ourselves that, no. Success Club for us is a non-negotiable. Success Club for us is a business behavior that we should go for because that's the best way to help people.
Right.
But Success Club, if what that person needs doesn't translate to a Success Club point, I'm still going to help them.
Right. Yeah.
And in 3 months, that person who earned me Success Club 3 months ago, I know about them. I know their goals. I'm still checking in on them. They're still a part of the groups. So we have to make sure that we just check ourselves and don't allow us to let Success Club go because of other people's perception and how they have maybe even talked about it a little bit. So anyway, that was on my heart, I had to say. But before we go too much further, let's talk a little bit about inviting, because I hear this often, Tammy. So often. Actually, as a matter of fact, I just asked Ali Tessitore to go live in the Champions page today to talk about her story, because she was the same way. You know, she was talking about how shy and timid she was and how she was even a little embarrassed to invite. And one day she just decided, you know what, I do want this. I like, there is an opportunity here. I finally see it. And so she mentioned in her call that did anybody see that, by the way?
Not yet.
Okay. It's kind of long, so I will say that, like, maybe that's something that you listen to on the way to work. But the first thing she said, and this, you guys are going to roll your eyes at me, is that she got her why. She found her reason why she was doing this. And what that does is it rooted her in the foundation to be able to talk about the reasons why she does this. So she talked about 3 to 4 reasons why you do this, and just talking about that and sharing that. And so what about the inviting thing? Let's break down you a little bit. What about the inviting thing kind of is most intimidating for anyone? We can all chime in, because I know this is not just a Tammy thing.
Now, I'm sure it's the sales/selling thing for most people, I would guess, because they don't want to seem like we're selling them.
Okay. So let's maybe come up with a conversation. Maybe you have one in your mailbox already where you're feeling like, I'm not quite sure what to say. It is time to invite, but I don't want to feel like I'm selling. Let's come up with something together. Let's do this together. You're not alone. That's what the team is for. So why don't you find a message that it's time to do the inviting, and let's do it together. Because the thing is that you know that you're coming from a good place with pure intentions. You're never going to say the wrong thing to the right person. And as long as you know your why, you're rooted in that, you know that you're coming from a good place with pure intentions, then we can do this. So let's come up with the message together. So why don't you find one for us, and then we'll come back to you. Is that okay? Am I putting you too much on? Cause, guys, I'm candid, and I want you guys to be candid back. If it's too much, you say, Keichun, you know what? That's a little too much.
Well, I have a lot of people ask me, which I'm okay with that. That's not a big deal. I mean, I can share, and that's no big deal. It's the ones that, you know, you're trying to build a relationship with and working in, getting to know them, and then eventually throwing it on them, you know, after you ask them a couple questions and you're back and forth, you know, oh, by the way, I do fitness groups or whatever, you know.
Okay.
Just finding that right time.
Got it. Anybody have anything to chime in on this before I kind of give some off the top of my head tips?
So I'll say something. Let me turn on my light here. Now that I'm done with my workout. I've kind of worked through this process a little bit myself of trying to figure out how to let go of being scared to invite, or being, you know, that intimidation of what are they going to say? I just let it go. I don't want to say I don't care what they say, but it really almost doesn't matter, because I know what I'm saying and what I'm offering has value. And so what I have started to do with people, a little bit of the language comes from some of the back office that I've been kind of tweaking a little bit. And so I'll just throw it out there to people and say, hey, you know, I've been thinking about you lately, which is true because they're on my list. And so I'm thinking about them. And I just say, you know, you came to my mind, and I have this challenge group that I'm starting, and I thought of you, and I think you'd be a really great fit. I need, you know, it depends on what kind of relationship I have with them. But sometimes if I know that they're a person that posts positive quotes and things like that, I try to play that up and go, I really love to fill my groups with positive, empowering women, and I think you'd be perfect for it. So that is, like, to me, a little bit less intimidating, because I always feel uncomfortable too, inviting them, saying, hey, you're overweight, you need to lose weight, and join my group. So you know what I mean? So I find for me that works of playing up their personalities. And so I really found a way to invite a couple people like that. Now, with that said, I'm not in Success Club, so I haven't gotten people to bite, but I feel more comfortable kind of complimenting them and telling them, you know, things about them that are positive, and saying, hey, I have this challenge group, would you like to try it out? That's what I found is working for me a little bit.
Love that. Love that. So also, maybe we even take a step back. Hey, I have this group, this booty challenge group that I'm doing, or this fitness group that I'm doing. I don't know if you've stalked. I don't know if you're a stalker like me, but I've totally peeped your page, and I just wanted to ask if you wanted to be in this fitness group. It's totally free, right? So maybe you even invite them into a free group initially. You know, if that's what makes you feel more comfortable with the inviting, more comfortable that you're not just asking them to spend money right away after you've built this relationship. And then also, maybe it's, do you mind taking a look at this group? I noticed that you are XYZ, and you are definitely the type of person I look up to, or influencer that I look up to, and would love to just hear your opinion on this. We were just talking about that actually earlier in a mastermind, and this girl, one of the coaches, sent it to someone on her dream team list, so to speak, and the girl was like, gave her actual feedback. She was like, well, I would turn it upside down. I would start with that question that you asked at the end. Anyway, so it really got another conversation going, and that was her opportunity to also remind her that, yeah, this is what I do for my business. We used to work together a long time ago, and do you mind taking a look? I've always looked up to you. If you're adding value to them, then be okay with asking. You know, meaning if they are someone who is in your group, any group, if they are someone who is watching your like page or your Insta stories where you're adding the value, it's totally okay to ask them, and just know that that's kind of the next step. Hey, you've been in this group for a while, wanted to know if you want to do XYZ. When you get into this group, you get more one-on-one coaching, you get more blah, 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 whatever it comes with. So it's kind of like that next step. And it's like, you know what? Maybe I would be a disservice if I didn't offer them that, and kind of just having a paradigm switch with that. And then lastly, really inviting from your list. So maybe you're not doing the more cold invites. Do it, right? It works for people. I'm not saying don't do it, but maybe it's you invite people that have already been in a free group, or have already been in a challenge group, or etc. So you're working from your list, you're inviting from your list. Again, why? Because you've built a relationship, they know the value that you add, you've been adding value to them, and that makes it a little bit more comfortable as we are getting uncomfortable, so to speak. So again, I think that at the end of the day, there's no real script for inviting, and that's what Ali was talking about, is just knowing that you will not say the right thing or the wrong thing to the right person, and just saying, hey, like Melinda said, you have been on my mind, and this might seem like it's coming out of left field, but wanted to know if you wanted to join this group. I love inspiring, motivating women, and as I was scrolling through your page, and as we've been talking for the past 7 months, that's you. And I really feel like we could have fun together. Do you want to do this?
Yeah. So
just being you, and knowing that no one is youer than you. You are your superpower. You are your superpower. So, okay. So that was a little bit about inviting. Love that. Thank you, Tammy, for letting me start with you. I appreciate it. Melinda, since you're on my big screen now, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself? And so the questions are, I don't know if you heard, and Lydia, I know that you just jumped on too. We're talking about goals. We're talking about through the next 34 days, so through the end of the year. We're talking about the strategy. We're also talking about what's working and what's not working.
So for me, I'm a lot like Tammy in that I'm working full time, but I've always been working full time for the 2 years that I've been doing this. So it's always a challenge to find the balance of how to do this with a job and during the day and stuff like that.
Okay.
I did join Robbie's Action Academy too. Started using Google Streak, so that's working really, really well for me to be able to track people and actually see that I'm doing something every day. It also helps me to tell my husband what I'm doing so that he knows I'm not just scrolling. I can actually tell him what I'm doing. So, because that's been a little bone of contention, with he says my Facebook time is not working according to him. So it's nice to be able to say, hey, look, this is what I've done. And he knows that I'm actually treating this serious. So that's been helpful just to keep a tracking of it, but then also to know that Monday morning I'm going to have to count these up and really, put a number on it. How many people did I talk to? Because I definitely, one day I think I did what I thought was a bunch of work, and then I'd only talked to 7 people, and I went, whoa, what happened? Like, what did I do? So it's helped me to reassess and evaluate that. What is not working is trying to get the posts in. I have all these fabulous brain ideas that come to me in the middle of the day. I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be a fabulous post. I either don't have a picture to go with it at the moment, or I don't have time to write it all down, but it's in my brain because it'll be when I'm working on patients. And then I go back to it and I've totally forgotten my brainstorm and what it was. So what's not working is just trying to figure out how to get those posts out there, because I'm getting probably max 2 a day, and I really want to try the 3 to 5. So I got to figure out something to do with the consistency factor. That's where I'm with that.
Okay. So when you're with patients, I don't know how easy this would be, but you might want to try like voice memo. I know that I do so many voice memos and voice to notes while I'm driving, because for some reason I have my best thoughts when I'm driving, and I'm like, text and drive. So maybe you begin to, when that post comes to mind, you voice memo it really quick, and then you can come back to it at night when it's time, when you give yourself maybe 15 minutes to go through those voice memos, and then you can type them out. You can put them in a Facebook page with just you and your success partner, because a group needs to have at least one other person. And then when it's time to actually use those posts, you find the picture, you can copy and paste it, and then go ahead and put the picture to it, and boom, it's there. And so you basically—
That's an interesting idea. I never thought of a Facebook group with like a collection of, that's interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a dental hygienist, and my boss, especially 2 days a week, is super uber picky about me having my phone. So even to do a voice text, he's been on us. We can't have our phones in the operatory and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's, I got to do it before, I got to do it on a little break that I have, and then at lunchtime, and then at the end of the day. So I got to figure that out.
Or maybe, if you're having these thoughts that you can't remember until you get to a phone or a notepad, maybe you just jot down a couple words that will help you guard your memory while you're with that patient. Hopefully, I don't know, hopefully you can remember it just a little bit. But
I have Post-it notes. I can have all kinds of Post-it notes by the end of the day.
Okay. But then make sure that you take like 15 minutes and you add that to your to-do list. So that way you can go through those and you can type them out and actually get them ready to post. So you're pre-planning your post, and maybe you do use third marketing tools, or even Facebook has, the availability for you to pre-plan post and pre-schedule your post. So you can do that in that 15 minutes too, if maybe it's a lighter day when you don't have as many. You just take 15 minutes, you add that to the last task. Because another thing that I was going to say is, let's make sure that we're doing business first. So business producing activities come first. And then the things that you don't necessarily like to do should be at the top of that list. So that way you can make sure that you get you taken care of, that you get those invites done, you get those follow-ups done, you get what you need to do in order to progress your business and to share with your husband or whoever, hey, this is what I did. And you know that you did those things first. You didn't put them off last. You didn't put them off to do a graphic, because a graphic is not going to get you where you're trying to go. Okay.
Yes.
So do your business first. Put time limits on your to-do list. I particularly, there's so many different ways to approach time management with this business. But for me, myself, I work best with the Pomodoro technique. Meaning, I set my timer for 25 minutes. I give myself 25 minutes on a task. For 5 minutes, I get up, I woo-saw, and then I come back, I sit back down, and I do the next task. And so I put a timer on myself. And some tasks don't require 25 minutes. Some tasks require more than 25 minutes. Some tasks require less than 25 minutes. But so I just kind of gauge the time that I'm going to give myself, because I'm someone who can do a task until the cows come home. Like literally, I will be sitting on an email for 3 weeks if I don't say, okay, Keichun, production over perfection, like get it done, get it out. You'll never say the wrong thing to the right person. I have to tell myself that literally every day. So put time limits, set a timer, but put your business producing activities first. And then this is for both you and Tammy. Guys, you lead with the fact that you do this part-time. I think that sometimes we're this all or nothing type of, I don't know, I see it so often, like it's all or nothing, like you're in or you're out, you're full-time or you're not. It's like, no. Like, there are people who love their jobs. You know, we have physicians and dental hygiene. We have people who love their jobs, who went to school, who got in debt, who are not trying to leave their jobs because they did all that because they love it. And so don't feel like you have to lead with, want to do this full time if that's not you, or B, that you do this full time. Lead with the fact that you are supplementing income. Lead with the fact that you do this part time. Lead with the fact that you have a business, an online business that you do in your spare time, or that you do and you make X amount of income, or you're able to contribute X amount of time to your family, to your friends, that you're able to help X amount of people in 20 hours a week or 15 hours a week or whatever it is. That sometimes is more attractive than you doing this full time, honestly, because it's more realistic. And maybe the people that you know, or the people that you're attracting, are also people who went to school for 4 years to do their dream careers, and they're in their dream careers, and they couldn't even fathom at this moment leaving that dream career. And so they're like, but you know what? I do need to make like 200 extra bucks a month. So, you know what? That does sound good, what Linda's doing, what Tammy's doing. Let me learn more about how you're doing this part-time. So don't be timid to talk about the fact that you guys do this part-time. That I think is most attractive. And let me tell you, a lot of my coaches who do this full-time, after doing this part-time, they're like, Keichun, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. So, because you're so dialed in with your time as a part-time coach. And so take advantage of it and talk about it. Lead with it. Don't be trying to talk about you doing this full time, or even the desire if that's not there. And then lastly, I'm going to share this screen really quick. Okay, so this was a tracker. I'm going to start down here. So this was a tracker that was shared. Have you guys seen this, by the way? Okay, so this was a tracker that was shared at Leadership by Moira Kusaba, who is down in South Carolina. And essentially, she was saying that she identifies her coaches as 3 different types: as a runner, and I'll come back up to that, as a jogger, and as a walker. Did I say jogger? As a jogger and a walker. And essentially, you can be a jogger one week and a runner the next week and a walker the next week. And the idea behind being consistent is just to do. It's just to do. And so maybe that means you did it as a walker that week, or maybe that means you did it as a runner that week, but it's just to do. Maybe you did a walker for a month. Okay, well, now you can check yourself. You say, okay, well, let me go up to jogger for at least 2 weeks. So you can check yourself, but the idea, the objective behind being consistent is just to do. And so these are some of the walker tasks that she has identified. And I've seen some coaches kind of take this and make it their own. But, you understand your vision. What is it that you want for yourself, for your family, for your team? You share, you invite one person a day. You do 10 minutes of PD. You commit to being proof the product works. You are rooted in gratitude. You post something of value to your social media channels. You contribute to your challenge group. And for her team, they do their challenge groups together. So that's why it just says 2 challenge group daily. You listen to the wake up call. You post your monthly goals. You have monthly goals. And then she kind of just has them broken up. Take time on Sunday to write in your banner, your monthly, weekly goals, capture all of your to-dos, gather your thoughts. So taking some time on Sundays to reflect and prepare for the upcoming week. If it's not a Sunday, maybe it's a Wednesday. You can make it whatever makes sense for you, right? And then, so these are the walker tasks. You attain Success Club 0 to 5 each month as a walker. It's a business goal, even if you're walking in this business, right? Okay, so then she says, and you understand the power of community, recognition, and the compound effect. So then, and she has a cute little tracker that's much like the business activity tracker that helps you keep task of all that. But then she says you can identify as a jogger the very next week that you were a walker, or vice versa, as long as we're being consistent. And of course, the jogging activities, it increases just a little bit. You are, that sheriff shouldn't be there. You're reading your vision. You're inviting 3 people a day. 3 people a day. You're posting on social media 3 times a day. You're doing a daily power hour with your business producing activities first and foremost, with you working how you need to work in order to manage your time. You are contributing to the team page, because we're a team. You're not in this alone. Don't feel like you have to run a team page alone. You have to run challenge groups alone. You have to run sneak peeks alone. You are a team. So take advantage of the team, especially for my girls who are doing this part-time. You're not in this alone. Let's do this together. Let's link arms. That is the power. That's why you're on this amazing team. I don't believe that you're here by coincidence, chance. I believe that you were meant to be here. You were meant to be on this team. That's just my belief. You attend team calls, you run monthly free groups, you host challenge groups, you do 10 to 30 minutes of PD, you do the 4 vitals, you post your monthly goals, you take your Sunday evening for your weekend review, you use a tracking system, you know who you talked to, what you talked about, you have a tracking system, even if it's pen and paper, it's whatever makes sense for you. Pen and paper, Team Z, Google Streak, Automated CEO, I've heard so many, and they have worked for some people and not worked for other people. So sometimes the eye roll part is you got to find what works best for you. And I eye roll that myself, just because for me, personal story, a few years ago, I really wanted to dial in my morning routine. And I was reading all these articles on what the most successful people were doing. And Miracle Morning had come out. I read Miracle Morning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it all. Y'all, it took me 4 months to get my morning routine down. I just kept failing my way forward. And like some days I would come in at 9 a.m. I would already feel like a failure. But I just had to find what works for me, because the cool thing is that we have these tips and best practices, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And so that's the eye roll part, like figuring out what's going to work for you. But just know that these tips and practices have been proven. We just got to figure out what works for you. Okay. So taking that Sunday evening, using those tracking systems, understanding the compensation plan, beginning to really understand coach placement and what that means and how that means to your growth, your business growth. And you understand that you are a human brand and you are adding value, and that people are maybe even beginning to come to you. And the power of community again, and recognition, and the compound effect. This jogger, they achieve Success Club 5 to 10. And they're helping at least 3 people get started with this business. And then the runner tab, the runner tracker is even more audacious. So I won't go into it, but just know that being part-time, it doesn't matter. You can do however, you can approach this business however you need to approach it in order to reach your goals, whatever your vision, whatever your goals may be. But just know that being consistent doesn't mean you have to run the entire year. Being consistent means just doing. And so that might mean that you're running a couple weeks and then you go to jogging and maybe you go to walking, but then you come back to running and then you go back to walking. So I would just encourage you guys to be consistent with what you do. Okay. Okay.
That's great. Is that a tracker that we can get access to, or because that's kind of
Rebecca?
Because that's kind of what I've been. I was just talking to my Success Club partner, and I was telling her I think I need like a list of, did I make a post on Instagram? Did I make a post on, because sometimes I think I did and I didn't do it. So I think that sounds fabulous.
Okay. Thank you. Whew. All right, guys. I have to take a quick pause. I'm so sorry. Can Rebecca, do you mind taking over really quick for 3 minutes? I'll be right back.
I sure will.
Okay. I'm so sorry. This is unprofessional.
It's all good, girl. It's all good. Yeah, I love that tracker. I'll get it from her and then we'll post it in there. And I love that too because like this week is a week that I have to be a walker. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Is I have to be, because we're doing our huge retreat at my church and I have to be a walker. But the thing is, it's like I've got to get my workout post up and I've got to, there's those vital things that we do. I hope I contacted all of my coaches because I didn't go by my list, or challengers or whoever, just making sure that I loved what Tammy said too, because if the main thing is not the main thing, if it's just about the business and we don't really care about the people, whether it's the challengers or then, that's the wrong business. We could be selling something else, working somewhere else. But
I wanted to say something too, Rebecca, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just when Melinda was just saying that, for those of us who do work full time, I feel like we're so like rushing to get our work done and to get those posts in, to do those few connections that we lose track. That's what I was telling you earlier. It's not that I need help on what to do. It's somebody to help keep me accountable to make sure, because I've done so many trackers. I've made my own trackers. I've printed trackers. I've copied trackers, but it's not the same as a one-on-one. And for those of us that are busy and running 24/7 all the time, when you got 15 minutes and you're jumping on your social media, it's like you were overwhelmed by all that you have to get done in those 15 minutes. And so it's just helpful to have somebody, just making sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, because you lose track and that 15 minutes, it's gone. You know what I mean? It's really hard to choose wisely in those few minutes.
Yeah. Keichun, what would you say, like how to find your success partner, like how to find a success partner? What would be your tips in doing that? Well,
I think that one, looking within your team, who are people that are kind of like you, who have similar visions for themselves in this business, for themselves personally, and who are willing to put forth similar action. Because what often happens is you might get someone who does a lot of, talking big, and then their actions don't necessarily match their actions don't necessarily match the goals or match what they're saying that they're wanting to accomplish. So just making sure that, they are kind of doing what they're saying that they want to do. And someone who is maybe not a friend, just and starting, it's kind of a dating type of thing, and over communicating the purpose of this relationship. And yes, let's be friends for sure. But let's also make sure that we're candid, and let's make sure that we are both candid to each other. Meaning if I'm ever overstepping, you can say, you know what, you're kind of overstepping. But at the same time, I'm going to say, girl, you didn't do XYZ. You said you were going to do XYZ. So what's up? Or maybe it's someone who, another personal story from my success partner, who actually is a very good friend of mine. She is someone who will, and we both to each other. I'll start with her and then I'll come to me. So I bought her 21-day fix. She was suffering from postpartum depression, just bad. And we both ran cross country and track collegiately together. And she, lost her, and she was just feeling it. And so I bought her 21-day fix, and she let it collect dust. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm tired of hearing you talking about how you're not loving yourself. Like, why don't you do 21 Day Fix? And she was like, okay, fine. I said, well, what do I need to do to help you? And I said, what time do you want to work out? She said, 6 o'clock in the morning, her time. So I'm like, okay. So I woke up and I call her, are you up? I want to hear the water run. I want to see, and this is a little extreme because she is a good friend, but I want to hear Autumn's voice. I want to know that you've pressed play. All right, I'll call you in 30 minutes. Goodbye. And so that was extreme until she got into her routine, till she was getting up out of the bed, because she was still like lights off, covers on mirrors, blinds closed type of mentality. For me, there was something that I just was so fearful of in my personal business. And I still, to this day, for a while, I was trying to figure out why I was fearful of it. And then I realized, well, now I'm using me trying to figure it out as another excuse not to do it. So I was like, okay, you know what? I have been putting this off for 2 weeks. If I don't do it this week, then I owe you $100. And I still didn't do it, y'all. And she was like, give me my $100. And she was like, so what are you going to do? Because you still haven't done it. I said, okay, you know what? If I don't do it tonight, then I owe you $1,000. Well, you bet your bottom I did it, because there was no way I was going to pay her $1,000. So I did it, and I was super intentional about it. So finding someone where you have that relationship where you're able to both give and receive. You don't want to be the only one giving or the only one receiving. So I would definitely start within your team, though, and just putting it out there. Hey, I'm looking for a success partner. These are some of my goals. I'm a mom of one. I'm also full-time, blah, blah, blah. And I have these different ministries I'm involved in. Would love to connect. Long way to answer that question. Sorry. Okay, let's go over to Mariah.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
So I mean, I'm pretty new to the group, and I have an amazing coach who just never quit pounding on my door. So that's why I'm here.
Love it.
But you know what, right now, because of my coach Miriam, guiding me, what has been most successful for me is sharing my journey. So I started out close to 280 pounds. I'm in the 250s. Woo woo!
That's ridiculous.
So I just am motivated by that right now. And so this is a story that happened the other day at work. Someone came up to me and said, I know I'm not crazy like you are, and you're doing these workouts with Chris Downing, and I can't do that, and the no carb thing, but I'm doing my yoga workouts on my TV, and I lost 12 pounds, and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And she's like, I just want you to know, like, every time your video comes up on Facebook, like, you really motivate me, even though I'm not doing it with you, like, you're motivating me. And I didn't even know she was watching, because I was like, she never likes my stuff. She doesn't ever comment. So I'm like, whoa, you watch my stuff? That's amazing. So I think right now the stories that I'm starting to hear and the people saying, I am watching, or, I saw, or congratulations, and what are you doing? That's really helping me right now. So my journey is my business, strategy right now, just the sharing. So that has been working for me. I don't, I'm not inviting necessarily, other than I have invited a few people, and my one friend who is doing it with me, she said, I can't commit to the full package, but I'm going to do all access. And you know what? She is the one that is constantly checking in with me. I did my workouts. Here's what I'm eating today. And it's amazing. So, right now that's where I am at, and I love it. I mean, they motivate me.
Yes, girl, you motivate us. You just another little light bulb moment. Guys, I encourage you guys to, if you haven't in a while, or if you've been kind of doing the same thing, to do a different program, to do it from start to finish, do it exactly how it's written, and talk about that, share that journey. There's nothing like getting, especially right now, there's nothing like I just started Shift Shop Monday, and I plan on going through the holidays, baby. And there's nothing like just getting that transformation. And so I encourage you guys to, be empowered by Mariah. Also, Mariah, a couple things that just off the top of my head, love what you're doing, because that's what this whole thing is rooted in, just sharing your story, sharing your journey. I would say that as you continue to share that, don't be afraid to invite people to join you on the journey. Meaning in your post, in that video, say, and guys, if you are looking at me, if you're looking at me from the couch, you don't have to. We can do this together. It can be simple little invites like that in your post in what you're already doing. And then also when you have people like that come up to you and tell you things like that, that can even be a little post idea. Meaning, let's see, this is off the top of my head, so you'll make this a little bit better, right? But maybe it's something like, yes, I have committed to doing extreme workouts, or yes, I'm doing one of the hardest workouts. I'm working with one of the best trainers, but I want you to know that I started somewhere. Like I started XYZ, wherever you started. And I just encourage you guys to start somewhere. If that means yoga, if that means whatever that means for you. If you don't know what that means, then let me talk to you. Hit me up, comment below, so I can help you figure out where to start. So you can even use that type of message when someone comes to you and says, well, I know I'm not like you. You don't have to be like me. That's not what this is about. So you can use those as ideas for posts and invitations for people to come and to join you. And then also be empowered by her watching and not liking, meaning that there are probably several dozen more who are watching and not liking or commenting. And that's why it's so important for us to be consistent. So just keep doing what you're doing, girlfriend. Congratulations on your weight loss and being on your journey and for sharing that. That is so major, your willingness to share it. So keep doing that, but just these little tweaks are inviting people to do it with you. Okay?
Sure. I'm so sorry. My family's waiting to eat dinner, so I gotta run. Thank you. I'm gonna watch this, but
okay.
Thank you.
Bye, Mariah. Congratulations.
Love you, girls. I gotta run. Family time. Mwah. Bye.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, Lydia, last but certainly not least.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay, so my thing is, I totally love this program. Oh my goodness, because it has truly changed my life. It's changed my family's life. And when I say family, it's not just my husband, like my parents, my brother. I have just seen health changes. And so my struggle is being vulnerable with that on social media. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is fear. But I guess I'm also scared that I don't want to say, oh, look at what it's done for them. And I don't want people to think, oh, well, then it's going to be for me too. Like it's a cure, or it's, I'm so scared that people are going to take it the wrong. Here's why I say this.
Okay.
My daughter is type 1 diabetic, and I am in a group of moms with children with type 1 diabetes. And all the time I see people post in there, can you believe this lady tried to sell me this because they said it was going to help my daughter, or blah, blah, blah. And they get so angry. And deep down inside, I'm like, oh, but it's not Shakeology. But I'm like, but Shakeology is helping my daughter. I'd love to share it with y'all, but I'm scared that y'all are going to receive it wrong. You know what I mean?
Yep. Okay.
So that's my thing. It's being vulnerable. But I guess I could just share what's going on in my life, right? Like I could just use her. And part of it is I'm scared to just put her out there. But the bottom line is I just want to help people. I really do. I see people struggling and I see how it's helped me. It's just that, just doing it. Part.
Okay, I completely know what you are talking about. Have you guys listened to the wake up call from Monday by chance? No. Okay, well, some of you have, some of you haven't. I just did a screen share. This is essentially can you guys see that?
Yes.
This is essentially what Trina was talking about. Put it together on a nice graphic because it was so freaking good. The big idea. She talked about, I think, a couple of these points, Lydia, would help us with this. And then I have some points also. And the couple of points that I really want us for you to kind of reflect on is a big idea is wrapped around a problem you want to solve and something that you care about. So the big idea essentially that she was talking about is your why, is your reason for doing this, and who you're talking to. And so if moms or moms dealing with children with diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes, if that is one of the problems that you are wanting to solve, then we have to go to it and talk to it with ferocious belief, knowing that we will never say the wrong thing to the right person, knowing that we're coming from good in place with good intention, knowing that we're not going to say that, hey, this is what cures XYZ, but this is what's working for us right now. And so I would say if that is one of the problems that you are wanting to solve, well, I'll ask you, is that kind of wrapped up in your why? Is that a part of your big idea?
That's a huge one. Yeah.
So then I say, we've got to, and I just stopped sharing that screen. Then I say, and this is out of love, we have to stop caring what people think. We can do it, type it, share it in a way that will make you feel a little bit more comfortable. Meaning, instead of you putting your daughter out there, maybe it's you talking about your daughter, but not really saying her name or mentioning it's your daughter. You're just saying that this is something that is, well, no, maybe it is. How old is your daughter?
5.
She's 5. So, and so maybe it is that, because people need to know that they are not alone in this. So maybe it's, one thing that we found to be working for XYZ is this Shakeology. And at first I cringed. Maybe that's your story. At first I cringed. I felt like I was being sold. Then I started doing the research myself, and I started reading up on this specific ingredient. And then I realized that this specific ingredient was something that we were paying thousands of dollars for in her medicine. And so we tried it. And let me tell you that we've been doing this now for X months, for however long. And so far, it's helping with XYZ. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not, I'm not this person, with these credentials, with these degrees behind me. But what I do know is that I was a scared mom. And what I do know is that I was willing to try something. And what I do know is that it's working for her. Mm-hmm. And so you can share it just like that. But in your own way, you share just like that. It's not, this is the end all be all. It's not that I'm a know-it-all. It's just that this is what's working for me. I can't say it's going to work for you. But if you are like me and desperate to get something for your baby, mm-hmm. then I recommend you try it, because you have 30 days to give it back anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
So we do have to just stop kind of, have that paradigm switch. It's like that post and then run, and knowing that if a part of your mission, your big idea is to solve that particular problem, then we have to do it. We have to share it. And we have to know that maybe people will be in groups and say, can you believe that such and such tried to sell me? But then maybe you change the whole trajectory. Can you believe that so-and-so, asked me this and it actually worked? And it's actually working for my baby?
Yeah.
And she didn't just try to sell me and then run away. She really stuck with me. She really made sure it was working. She really made sure that I was making it correctly. She wasn't just this one and done. She wasn't about the transaction. She was not for my money. She was for me and my child. And we are so much better off because of it.
That's good.
What if you change that?
Yeah. That's powerful.
So maybe let's put a post together. What's something that you've been wanting to talk about and you haven't because you don't know the right things to say? Or I won't say it like that, because you're nervous about saying it.
So I guess it's that I have seen, well, okay. So a little bit of type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is not like type 2
Okay.
at all. It's an autoimmune disease. Her body is attacking itself.
Okay.
However, her blood glucose, levels can skyrocket or they can dip down. And even though with type 1, you're not restricted in your diet like type 2, and it can't be prevented. You just, you either get it or you don't. Diet does help. And so even though doctors and nutritionists will say she's not restricted, there is something to be said for eating healthy. And I'll see other type 1 moms say, my kid can have whatever they want. As long as you give them insulin, they can have whatever they want, which is true. However, what I've seen is that if you give bad carbs, if you give that junk food, those levels are just going to be out of whack. And so what I want to convey is a healthy lifestyle helps. And then I have witnessed how Shakeology is the one thing that does have carbs in it, but doesn't make her blood sugars skyrocket. It actually keeps her pretty stable. And I know that she's getting nutrients, and she is, and it's not something that makes her skyrocket. Like, I love it. I'm like, it's the one thing I can give her, and I don't have to give her extra insulin for. That's what I want to tell people.
I love it. I love exactly what you just said, how you said it. Rebecca just mentioned a couple things. I'm going to butcher it. Xanthan gum helps diabetes. Did I say it right? Okay. And then she mentioned that that's a beautiful live video. And I think I have to agree with that. The title of it is You Can Give Your Kids Whatever They Want as Long as They Have Insulin. And then you begin to share, I understand that is true. But what I've also realized just with my own life, with my own situation, is that exactly what you just said. And so I used to roll my eyes when I would see the post about Shakeology and all these different shakes. And then I don't know how you got in, but maybe you talk a little bit about, and then something happened to where she was like, well, just try it. And so I was like, okay. And it has been, since then, it's been the only thing. And guys, I'm not making any claims, but it has been the only thing that has stabilized my baby's blood sugar. And this isn't a disease that attacks your body. I want to make sure that she is taken care of holistically. I don't want to just give her insulin and let her eat whatever she wants, especially if I know that her food intake can have something to do with it attacking itself. So I was willing to try it, and I tried it, but I rolled my eyes so many times. And so that's the story, exactly what you just said. You just got to get your partner who can hold her accountable. And when you feel right, by next week, share it. Do it. Do that. And remember that it's not only going to be therapeutic for you, but it can potentially help someone. And it's not only going to be helping your business, but it could literally be potentially helping someone else figure out that thing that they've been trying to figure out for their own child, for their own self.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I mean, it comes back to, I wish somebody would have shared it with me if I didn't know.
And you say that too in the video. This is why you're going to hear me talk about it. This is why, if you don't want to hear me talking about this, you might as well go ahead and unfriend me now, because I'm going to begin to talk about this way more often. Why? Because it's working, and I don't want another mom to go through what I went through for the past 5 years not knowing. Yeah. This is now a part of my life's mission. So you're going to hear me talk about it, y'all, and I hope that you receive that in love. That's good.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I know that we're 2 minutes over. It's 10 o'clock Eastern time. That's kind of late. Guys, I hope that you found some value from our conversation today. I really just wanted to make it about you guys. Of course, I prepared something, but I didn't really want to talk about what I prepared. I wanted to talk about exactly what you wanted to talk about, because that's what I'm here for, to help you achieve your goals, whatever your goals may be. So thanks again for letting me be here with you guys. And if you need anything, oh, you're welcome, Tammy. You just let me know. I'm here for you.
Keichun, thank you so much for taking time to be on. I know we would absolutely love to get those documents.
Yes, I will send it right now.
Page. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So just can't thank you enough. You've been very, very helpful, I know, to all of us. So we've gleaned so much.
My pleasure. All right, guys, have a good night.